This Titan has beaten the Godzilla-type Titan at least once and managed to overpower him not only once or twice, but on multiple accounts. We are talking about Muto Prime, the Jinshin Mushi, who has evolved to particularly defeat the Godzilla species and inject them with its parasitic larvae. An equally tough enemy who has even drawn out Godzilla's blood. There's a lot to talk about the Muto Prime. In this video, we will explore its origin, life cycle, abilities, and ferocious history. Lastly, we will speculate about where it stands among the other great titans like King Kong and Scar King. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Tracing the origins of Muto Prime. A Muto Prime evolves from a female Muto. But who are these Mutos? As seen in the Godzilla movie from 2014, a huge skeleton was found in 1999 in the Philippines, and 2 spores were found with it. One of the spores was hatched and fled, while the other was dormant. The latter was taken to a nuclear waste repository in Nevada. A few days later, earthquakes were experienced at the Janjira nuclear power plant near Tokyo. The power plant fell and was quarantined by the Japanese government. 15 years later, it was revealed that there was a creature in Janjira that caused the collapse. The monster was named Muto, from the acronym Massive Unidentified Terrestrial Organism. It was a male Muto who had emerged and was sending signals to the other Muto, who had hatched and escaped in 1999. In San Francisco, he met the female Muto, who was much greater in size. They built their nest for mating, but both of them were eventually killed by Godzilla. In the Godzilla Aftershock graphic novel, we see that in the same year, a great deal of seismic activity happened again, and the epicenter was found to be a shrine in the Kyushu region of Japan. A massive burrow-style empty hole was found in the shrine, and a similar depression was found in Siberia, but it was full of frozen beastly eggs. Meanwhile, a Muto had also shown itself against Godzilla in Guam and attacked several submarines. Dr. Emma Russell had been studying the Muto and the sites. The priest at the Kyushu shrine informed her about the Japanese myth of Jinshin Namazu, the bringer of earthquakes and ruin, who had another and more ancient form of Jinshin Mushi, the dragon beetle. Jinshin Mushi is the mortal rival of Raijin, the Japanese god of thunder, who was preceded by Dagon. After much research and intricate study, Dr. Emma Russell concluded that Jinshin Mushi is the parent subspecies of the Mutos, and then she named the parent Muto as Muto Prime. Muto Prime was supposed to be either the adult form of a female Muto or a surviving adult Muto from prehistoric times. She seeks kaijus, preferably Godzilla type, to implant her parasitic larvae, which would feed on the host for growth. The terrifying saga of Muto Prime. Muto Prime first appeared in the modern era after a series of earthquakes while tearing through the ground of the United States military base in Guam. She rampaged on the base and destroyed their land vehicles and naval ships. Godzilla immediately emerged from the water with a great roar, but Muto Prime smacked him with her tail and escaped away into the burrow-style hole from whence she had emerged. Godzilla also returned to the ocean. Dr. Emma Russell was invited to the epicenter where a similar large hole had formed. She descended into it along with another member of Monarch's Crisis Response Unit. Surprisingly, Muto Prime was lying hidden in the hole and began whirling rocks on the 2 humans. The 2 quickly evacuated the collapsing crater while the Muto Prime vanished underground. She reappeared in the Barents Sea, where she attacked a Russian nuclear submarine. Godzilla soon showed up at the scene and attacked Muto Prime in her stomach by hitting her with his head. Muto Prime counterattacked with her arm and then swam away. Next, Muto Prime raged on the Athena 2 nuclear power plant in France. She again emerged from the ground and began destroying the facility from top to bottom. Then Godzilla appeared and shot her with his atomic breath. He attacked her in close combat and grabbed her by the arm, but she instantly fought back with a punch in his face. She managed to overpower him and pulled out her ovipositors, but Godzilla scratched her face with his claws and she retreated back into her hole. Godzilla also walked back into the ocean with a wounded face. Emma Russell designed a plan to defeat Muto Prime. Emma believed that once Muto Prime heard the sonic pulses that her eggs emitted after being deposited in the host's body, she would leave the place since her ultimate goal would be achieved. Emma planned to artificially create these sonic pulses near the Muto Prime, who was now heading west toward the Azores. Muto Prime erupted from the ground when they blasted the sonic pulses, but she became aggressive instead of withdrawing. Muto Prime destroyed their setup, and their plan failed. In an emergency UN meeting, it was agreed to let the monsters fight in the hopes of both of them killing each other. Next, we saw Muto Prime attacking a storage site for decommissioned nuclear submarine power cores in the Beartooth Mountains in Montana. Here, a full-on battle raged between her and Godzilla. Godzilla blocked Muto Prime before she could reach the facility and kicked her. Muto Prime also retaliated with an attack on the face. Then Muto Prime jumped and attacked Godzilla on the back, startling him long enough to be shot with her sonic roar that destroyed his dorsal plates and knocked him to the ground. She again pulled out her ovipositors to inject Godzilla with her larvae, but Tarkon and Emma Russell were also present in the facility for a last attempt at their plan of subduing Muto Prime. Emma activated a sonic sound from her prototype, which was basically a car battery hooked to her daughter's toy keyboard. The plan succeeded to some extent, as Muto Prime stopped mid-attack just long enough for Godzilla to rise up and shoot a powerful pulse of atomic energy in spite of his shattered dorsal plates. Muto Prime was thrown vertically straight into the air in a stunning fashion. When Muto Prime came crashing down, Godzilla stomped on her face before she could retaliate and succeeded in killing her. Godzilla then walked away as the victor. We saw Muto Prime once again, not in action, but as a corpse, in the Godzilla Dominion graphic novel. Godzilla was swimming through his underwater territory and engaged in a few fights. He swam through the tunnel to Hollow Earth and continued swimming. He also swam past the carcasses of several fallen titans, among which one was the carcass of Muto Prime, which was apparently her broken skull, since the design matches the sketch by Edward Johnson attached to the end of the novel. What causes a Muto to become a Muto Prime, and how does it happen? Muto Prime is the final stage of her life cycle, as well as the first. A new generation of Mutos begins when a Muto Prime successfully injects her larvae in a Titan host with her ovipositors. She searches for atomic energy-rich regions in her target host to implant 2 eggs. Once incubation completes, the larvae absorb nutrition from the host's body. From one egg, a male Muto hatches and goes on to search for more atomic energy sources and later covers himself in a cocoon for metamorphosis and develops wings. From the other egg, a female Muto hatches and matures without undergoing metamorphosis. What we know next are Emma Russell's speculations about their life cycle. There are 2 possibilities. One is that after mating, the female Muto kills the male and metamorphoses into her adult form as the Muto Prime. The second possibility is that a female Muto can progenerate hundreds of Mutos and create a subspecies that would eradicate entire ecosystems and civilizations to meet their needs. Once they have established themselves, a civil war breaks out in the subspecies. They fight among themselves until only one emerges as the strongest. The sole winner then metamorphoses into Muto Prime. Muto Prime's formidable abilities and powers. Although Muto Prime does not showcase as many abilities as Godzilla, she is quite a formidable opponent for him, especially when given the fact that their species evolved specifically to subdue the Godzilla species as the perfect host for their larvae. A Muto Prime can cause seismic concussive blasts upon punching the ground. When she encountered Godzilla at the nuclear plant in France, she punched the ground, which shook Godzilla at his feet and knocked him down, perhaps either by affecting a fault line to cause a quake or creating an all-new fault line with the punch, which caused a disturbance in the tectonic plates. Arvid Nelson, the writer of the Godzilla Aftershock comic, says that a Muto Prime can cause earthquakes of up to Richter scale 12 magnitude, although they are rare. A Muto Prime can clearly manipulate tectonic plates and exploit fault lines that trigger earthquakes, as well as burrow underground through her own passageways and easily erupt through the ground at her will. She can also emit powerful sonic waves with her roar that could reverberate and shatter Godzilla's dorsal plates due to resonance. Her eyes glow bright red while using this attack. She is covered with an armored shell that can withstand Godzilla's attacks, but her head is a weak point, which was easily crushed by Godzilla in the final fight. Her legs are extremely strong to cause seismic disturbances. Her forelimbs are spiked, and she uses them as her primary weapon against enemies. Her claws are so sharp that they could scratch out blood from Godzilla's skin. As per the designer, Drew Johnson, Muto Prime's abilities are exponentially proportional to a beetle's abilities. A lava-like substance also flows through her body, which is clearly observable in her arms. Muto Prime is also amphibious, like Godzilla. The ultimate goal of a Muto Prime is to reproduce. Thus, she has evolved arrow-like sharp ovipositors which find the best spot for incubation by tracking the uranium in a Titan's bloodstream. They can pierce through the thick skin of the target Titan, even a Godzilla, and leave a hole-like wound. But the host survives with energy enough only to feed the larvae and not fight back. Comparative Might. Where does Muto Prime stand among MonsterVerse's legendary titans? Muto Prime might have suffered defeat at the hands of Godzilla, but she surely gave him a hard time in their fights. Let's speculate where she would stand among the other legendary titans like King Kong and the newest titan, Scar King. Before that, we will have a quick recap of their powers. Godzilla boasts raw strength and durability along with his atomic attacks, especially the atomic breath. He can also fight underwater, pierce enemies' skin with a bite, and absorb radiations to become Burning Godzilla, who could incinerate enemies. King Kong also boasts a Godzilla-level physical strength, but he gains an upper hand in intelligence. His punches can also cause earthquakes, but their intensity is only up to 4.2 magnitude. He can jump to great heights and showcases great agility. He also has a battle axe made of Godzilla's dorsal plates. Lastly, we have Scar King, about whom we know nothing more than what the trailer has shown us. His abilities are currently only speculation, yet let's quickly go through them. Scar King is apparently an orangutan titan, so he must be highly efficient in cognitive abilities. He might be a cannibal and flaunts a bone whip which he would use as a weapon. Although he appears lean, he is designed to fight Godzilla and King Kong, so he must be equivalent in strength and would be a lethal opponent. Godzilla managed to defeat Muto Prime, but he suffered many scars in his fights. Muto Prime also managed to overpower him multiple times. If it weren't for Emma Russell's efforts, the course of events might have been different. Although minuscule, there is a slight possibility that Muto Prime could have defeated Godzilla, as she can easily damage his dorsal plates with her sonic roar and knock him down with her seismic punch. It must also be noted that Muto Prime had already managed to defeat a Godzilla in the past, so she might have succeeded this time also. Now let's talk about King Kong versus Muto Prime. Muto Prime can as easily destroy Kong's battle axe as she shattered Godzilla's dorsal plates with her sonic roar. With the battle axe gone, King Kong would suffer a massive disadvantage. The battle would be reduced to close combat. Muto Prime might try to knock down Kong with her seismic punch, but Kong can withstand it owing to his agility. He could then counter with his own punch, but it is comparatively weaker in strength. The events can take any turn, with King Kong emerging victorious because of his intellectual fighting tactics, or Muto Prime beating him into a pulp. Scar King's true abilities are also not clear yet, but he stands equal to Godzilla and King Kong in terms of strength. Muto Prime is able to overpower the other two titans, and the same might happen with Scar King. But fans are anticipating Scar King to be much more ferocious and deadly, so he might actually be able to defeat Muto Prime. Let us know your speculations in the comments. Who is the strongest? Marvelous verdict. The fights between Godzilla and Muto Prime might have seemed easygoing, but Godzilla surely suffered a great deal against her. The modern civilization in 2014 might have been absolutely eradicated if Muto Prime had not been stopped on time. Despite her low range of attack variations, she is a ferocious fighter who would pose a serious threat to our favorite titans in a one-on-one battle. Well, for now, she is no more, and we might not be seeing her soon. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe.